Hello, everyone. A good evening to you. It's Tuesday evening. I trust that your day went well and you've all settled down, enjoying some quietness. So, my name is Yafoda Tabra, and I welcome you to Auntie Ya's Book Corner. Tonight, we are going to be speaking about what are you sewing. But before we do that, let me share to some groups, and then we'll be back to have a chat. Oops, I've left my volume on. All right. I'm just being quiet as I share because all right. There's just one more place that I need to share to, and then we'll be back. I hope you can hear me. My network it always seems to be acting up these days, but we will do the best that we can. I'm going to share to TikTok and then I'll be back to start. How's that? It's nice to have some great weather now. But with us, well, in the province of Alberta in Western Canada, Edmonton to be precise, anything can happen. You can wake up tomorrow, it will be April 9th, and there'll be snow on the ground, but it melts rapidly during the day. Okay. All right. I hope that you are having a great week so far and you are accomplishing whatever goals that you set out to accomplish. Okay, so I'm still sharing too. I don't know why TikTok is so fussy and I'm not able to share. Yes, so that is done. Right, so let's get on with our program. Let me go back to Facebook and see how things are going over there. We're talking about what are you sewing? Okay, and it's from my book, which is my third book, Refreshing for My Weary Soul, which is on Amazon. So the question that I asked is, what are you sewing? If you see me with my head down, I'm reading from my notes, okay? I'm sitting in place than I usually sit, so it's quite a bit awkward. So yes, where are you at in life right now? And what have you been sewing? Let me give you a minute to reflect on that. Are you happy with what you have been sewing so far? Do you have any regrets? And is it too late to make changes? When I say what have you been sewing, I'm sure you'd readily think about the parable of the sower. But in the book, I'm using Psalm 125, verses 5 to 6. And it says that those who sow in tears will reap with sounds of joy. So the thing is, if you don't want to sow in tears, like when you are building something, it's really a lot of work. Success doesn't come easy. You need to push and push and push, right? And so it's quite easy to give up. And then to many of us, for example, with men, for example, we say things like, oh, they are sowing their wild oats. Maybe you may have a situation where someone might say, oh, my father was never around or my father left. And when we grew up, he tried to come back and make amends and it's not working out. And even women too, it can happen with women. I'm not just talking about fathers really. So, or say there's some things that you were supposed to have done when you were young and you didn't pay any mind, and now you are old and you think it's too late. So we are on a journey in life, and it takes a lot of time and effort to build. So if you are not invested in building, you will reap the outcomes. But like I said, if you even if you have regrets, it's not too late to make any changes. It depends on you, really. So you need to sit down and reflect over your life. And don't be afraid of introspection. There's people who are so used to being in groups situations, or being the life of the party, that it's go 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 go. So a lot of times we don't sit down to do any serious thinking about what we are doing with our lives. But sit down, take a notebook, sit down and think about you. Who am I? What have my goals been? Where do I really want to go? Where do I see myself going, right? These introspection will give you a lot of information about yourself, really. And the thing is, it will let you know where you've gone wrong, what you have to fix, or even you get some new ideas through this introspection. So, and in the book, I say that remember that what you are sowing becomes you. So if you are sowing positively, you reap positive things. If you are sowing negatively, you read negative things. I've seen many posters like, to do with a child, for example, whose mother let them have their own way. They did whatever they want. There was no rules, no discipline. And then this child ends up in jail. And they ask their mother for a pen, and they ask the jailers for a pen and a paper, and they write this letter to their mom that if she had learned to say no to them early on in life, perhaps they wouldn't be in the situation in which they are now. So this is where you are reaping what you sowed. You didn't sow discipline into your child. You didn't sow honesty, integrity, hard work, things like that. So that's the kind of conversation that we are having. And you see, the thing is, I said earlier that it's not too late. You can still go after your dreams and so well. And the beauty of living in the diaspora is that, people can pick up and start at any stage in life. I say this because where I came from, where I was raised, we tend to have this fixed idea. You go to school, you go to primary, you go to secondary, middle school, secondary, then university. But here, there's resources, there's room. I'm not saying there's no resources back home. That's not what I mean. But there's opportunities to go back. Someone might be in their 40s. They go, I want to go retrain at such and such. And they go and they do it, really. You see, we fuss a lot about the length of time. But if you tell yourself you're going to take some training that is going to take you 3-4 years, do it, because before you know it, the 3 years would have come. Right now, think about it. Let me give you an example. When was COVID? 2020? When was it? It's about 3 or 4 years now. And when you look back, do you think you'd be here in 2025 now? Now it seems like a forgotten thing, even though it came with a lot of sadness, anxiety, tragedy, and what have you. We've moved forward. So if you started going to school at that time, by now you would have completed it. That's the example that I want to give. And I need you to understand too that there'll always be tears. There will be lots of tears in the sowing. A lot of people don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work. Like today, I had a video out on this wall that says, don't, what do you call it? Do the work, When people like women see women who've done the work on themselves, they tend to resent it. It's an investment. Every day is continuous learning. You have to be doing something with yourself. Yes. So there's always tears involved. Yes. Because anything worth doing is done with a lot of pain, discipline, and tears, right? And sometimes you can tell yourself, at least I'll tell myself, I don't want to do this, but something inside you will push you that, hey, I won't give up. I've got to get going. I'm going to do it. So you push. You push and you push. And before you know it, you've done that thing which you were so fearful of doing. Welcome to Auntie YAA'S Book Corner. I'm speaking about what are you sowing? So You also have to understand that anything that is done without pain leads to sorrow in the end. That is something that we have to keep in mind. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, a young man who sows his wild oats and won't stop sowing even when he's grown up and married. And so in Mikrom, you have a lot of people who are like, oh, men can cheat, men are allowed to cheat, this and this and that. No, 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 no. That has got to stop. And lastly, I say that do not let time run you by, okay? Especially to the youth. And there's a popular phrase in the Bible verse, Ecclesiastes 12:1, that says, remember your Creator in the days of your youth before the days of adversity come and the years approach, of which you will find no pleasure in them. So again, sowing involves discipline, a willingness to work hard. You see, if you don't want to work hard and people are working hard and accomplishing things, don't begrudge them. They put in the effort, the sweat, and the tears. So if you want to sow well, and you don't just sow haphazardly, there are people who have no plan. Oh, I'm going to do this. They don't have any plan laid out. They haven't mapped things out, and they go invest money in some project, and boom, it goes bust because they were missing some links in their planning. Okay? So let's be a people of discipline. Listen, you can enjoy your life. There's downtime, you go on holidays, you do whatever, but we are here. If you're a believer, the word says that you have to work. Yes, you work with your hands. And my favorite phrase that I like to quote is, go to the ant, you sluggard. A sluggard is a lazy person. They don't want to work. Yeah, the ant is always building, storing away. So yes, I've been here talking about what are you sowing? So this is a very brief video that I'm doing. I hope you take something from it. This is Auntie YAA'S Book Corner, and this page is based on my 6 books which are on Amazon. The first one of which is Reflections for a Thirsty Soul. It came out in 2020. And then there's The Beauty of the Woman's Heart and Refreshing, which we just looked at. And that came out in 2021. The fourth book is Own It, a guide to taking accountability and responsibility for your own life journey. And the fifth book is My Unapologetic Self, a guide to being real and living life on my own terms. The sixth one is A Call to Prayer, Intimacy with God Unleashed. These are all on Amazon. My claim to fame is I wrote a series of 6 books in a period of 5 years during the COVID. So I sowed and I'm reaping. Yes, you always have to leave a legacy in life. What is your legacy? What impact are you making? What is your mark? So with that, I'll leave you. On this platform, I do Saturday lives once a month, and I'm trying to come on in the evenings like I have today to do a book read. So I'll be doing book reads from my book here and there. And on TikTok, I do Authors Hub with Sister Adjoa Odome Sansasu and Boating Russells. And we have 8 books between the 3 of us, and we do Authors Hub. On Saturday, we'll be on TikTok. The poster will be coming out. We'll be on TikTok, and we'll be talking about mental health and well-being. As well, I started a new program, Nuggets with Mama Ya. I did one on Monday, and I was talking about encouragement. So on Monday, I'll be back to speak about inferiority complex. As well, once a month, I do Graceful Gems with Sister Nana Balulu's niche, and we talk about things from the Bible. We don't claim to be theologians by any means, but we just share our perspectives on the word. So yes, those are the programs that we have on here. So with that, I'll say good night, take care of yourselves, and I hope that you take something from this message.